deputies. Alright, so I want to try to... That's 20, that's not that far away. I'm just not sure how to get there. I wonder if I go this way if I can get there.
Attention, Dunwall citizens. John Clavering Boulevard has been designated a restricted travel area. Any citizens are liable to search or imprisonment at the discretion of the city watch.
Tin of potted meat. Rat skewer. Meat darts. Medicinal herbs. Spiritual remedy. Door to Dunwall Whiskey Distillery. Bottle Street boys, you cannot kill the rat plague. Iron charm, 30 meters.
That's not what we just cold. Are you sure? Because you know we have to check you over. And there's an inspection fee. And avoid your policy and avoid with you. Let me out. Oh, you don't want to talk to us like that. Fact is, Bottle Street is here to take its cut. So reach into your pockets and let's get this done. Yeah, and the inspection fee. We can't help it. The way we do things on Bottle Street.
Galvani's offices.
Hey! Let me out! Hey!
Somewhere up in there.
Let me out! I'm trapped!
Here you are. Come on!
What's up with the,
Let me out!
how do I let you out?
I'm trapped! I owe you, brother. I want to ask about the mask. I wouldn't want my face seen either, pulling a stunt like that. You know what? I'll return the favor. Come by Griff's shop. That's my business. Well, it was, at one time, but now I'm reduced to scavenging things from here and there as the city dies. If you need anything, I wouldn't mind trading for a little money. Maybe someday the plague will blow over and everything will go back to normal. But until then, it's scavenging for me.
Griff. Okay. Mission clues updated. He sells scavenged items on Bloodox Way. Evidently I'm near this...
Don't worry. Those Bottle Street boys had no idea where I keep the best loot. So come by when you can.
I wonder how long they're going to sleep for. Don't see anything in here.
Hey, don't you owe me a drink?
Okay, so the offices are that way.
Stupid goddamn.
Attention, Dunwall citizens. The following businesses have been closed and impounded by the state due to contamination. Barrow's Barbershop and Surgery, the Duke and Dancer Ale House, Merritt's Printing Firm, Pennyworth's Tack and Saddle Emporium, and the Smoke Street Dice Hall.
Dump you in the river. For the watch. Watch it! Damn you!
Well, that didn't go very well. Corpse. Okay. Trapping the rats, huh?
Attention, Dunwall citizens. John Clavering Boulevard has been designated a restricted travel area. Any citizens are liable to search or imprisonment at the discretion of the City Watch.
Dr. Galvani's offices. High Overseer Campbell leads the city's militant religious faction and is a close ally to the Lord Regent. Campbell is... Oh, I already read that before. Okay. I thought it was going to be different. Because, you know, the doctor's offices. Break and search for a sample of infected rat viscera.
What was that?
Unbreakable door.
Get around it!
Okay, I thought for sure they were gonna kill me, but I actually survived. Separate body part. Ah. Alright. Galvani building key. Maybe I can get some. Aw. I was hoping there might be some food or something in there. Vandal. Tivian pear. Hey! There was Tivian pears and prey. Yes, I do think I found some food. Customs and food of Morley. Born and raised in Bristol, I spent my formative years in our smaller cities before settling in magnificent Dunwall. There in the capital city, I learned to appreciate the finer things. When the opportunity arose to document my travels to Serkonos, Tivia, and finally Morley, I left my position as a clerk for the late Lord Estermont. Perhaps like so many in Dunwall, I suffer from being excessively cultured, but I found Morley disappointing. Over the course of this journal, I will explain why I found the Festival of Churners to be tiresome despite the high banners, bare feet, and red robes, and why their renowned jellied ox tongue is something I will be struggling to forget for many years to come. Okay. New note added to your journal. Blood sausage. Feeding log. Fourth day, month of wind. Assorted human remains. Strong appetite. 10th day, month of wind. 1 bag. Tivian pears, bruised, rotted. Rats, uninterested. 11th day, 1 tin, potted whale meat. Eaten. 13th day, human torso, no trouble finding corpse parts. 17th day, no feeding, aggression increased, incident of cannibalism. 20th day, incident with previous maidservant. Will withhold feeding until first day, month of darkness. So these rats are interested in meat. Unbreakable metal door. There's a mana thing in there. Anything else in there? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna risk going in there for just a mana potion. Cages with rats in them. Alright.
Dice.
I don't know what those words are. The third stricture. Restrict the restless hands, which quickly becomes the workmates of the outsider. Unfettered by honest labor, they rush to sordid gain, vain pursuits, and deeds of violence. Of what value are the hands that steal and kill and destroy? Instead, put your hands to the plow, the fork, and the spade. For even the lowliest labor that is rigorous squeezes the muscles as a sponge, rinsing importunities from the mind and body. Excerpt from a work detailing one of the 7 strictures. Some kind of strange religion that is anti-outsider. Avoiding the rat plague. From my government protocol and disease practices, much of the public still harbors false beliefs related to the plague. It is not true that the bile from river crusts will protect against contraction of the disease, nor is it true that crushed Morley orchids act as a remedy, though it is speculated that both these ingredients are used in both Sokolov's elixir and Piero's remedy. Consumption of these products before exposure to the plague constitutes the only known means of resisting the disease. Further, the Abbey of the Everyman warns against superstitious practices. Not only is it ineffective to burn 2 hagfish and a cat together, inhaling the vapors while chanting the names of the plague dead, but it is also considered heresy by the overseers and will be met with the full measure of the Abbey's laws. Tell your neighbors and practice these things yourself. Avoid contact with the infected. Consume your ration of elixir daily, preferably in the morning. And report anyone suspected of carrying the plague. Everyone must work together to stop the spread of the dreaded contagion. Bullets. Okay, I can't carry any more. And back to the main room. So now it's up the stairs.
Wait, did you touch the gate handle to Dr. Galvani's lab?
Yeah, I think so.
Then you have to scrub. The rat...
I only have 2 sleep darts left.
Vital essences? Does that mean guts? Hey, what's going on there?
What did you see?
Help!
Oh no! I need help! Someone help!
Looks like an interesting room. Nice spiritual remedy. Dr. Galvani's journal. Been invited to a soiree at the Boyle estate. Of course I won't attend. The 28th of the 7th month, the month of high cold, is the day I met Anton Sokolov at the academy. Why would I tarnish the anniversary of the most important day of my life by licking aristocratic boots? I have no time for fools. I will be solving the riddle of this plague. Perhaps I'll raise a cup of Tivian Red. Okay. Alright, let's see. So, what are my objectives again? I'm supposed to get Campbell's journal. I forgot why was I supposed to come to this Galvani's? Maury's pocket watch. Darts. Good, good, good. Now I have 4 rat viscera, 22 meters. Okay. Noisy clock. Can't carry any more ammo. Canker Mouth Gulf map. Okay, that's worth money. Ooh, it's a safe. Look at that. Combination lock. Red. Door to Galvani Boulevard. Alright, don't want to go out the door just yet. I want to figure out the combination to save, but I don't know what it is. Oh well. Spiritual remedy. Alright, where does this door go to? Corridor. Pouch. There's an ashtray. Empty bottle. From a travel chronicle by Anton Sokolov. The men I set out with are good sailors. No doubt half of them have cut their teeth on the rascally pirate ships spawned in the Sarconian archipelago. However, it's pronounced, I don't know. Or they were, I should say, half of them died before we sighted the broken red cliffs welcoming those who would visit the far continent, as it is called. Sickness in fighting, poisoned by a school, or would one say a flock, of small fish that fly over the waves like birds, landing in hundreds across the deck, pricking any they touched with toxic quills. Two thrown overboard by gusting demon winds, the quiet Tivian navigator simply dead in his bunk, wrapped in his white furs, eyes wide with terror. Few have crossed the ocean, and the distance to Bendicia is greater than most would imagine. More died climbing the cliffs, and now, with but a handful, I stand looking across the greatest expanse of land that exists. My allies are frightened, for this is beyond them, and now their captain is dead too, stung by something that resembled a prairie mole, but reacted with great apoplectic outrage when handled, so it falls on me to lead them. Okay. Okay, up the stairs. Oh, there's the cowering girl. The maid. Rat viscera. Cleaning instructions. Dear Ms. Benton, when cleaning my study, I ask that you constrain your efforts strictly to the floors. Please at all costs refrain from attempting to clean or arrange my bookshelf. In fact, it would be best to keep away from it altogether. Otherwise, I'll have to reconsider the terms of your employment. Regards, Dr. Galvani. Wasn't there a Dr. Galvani in Prey? I'm pretty sure there was a Dr. Galvani in Prey. And there were Tivian pears in Prey. P.S. Since I'll be out of the city for a few days, I've left next week's pay as well. The bank was closed, so I'm afraid it's short by half. You can count on me for the remainder next week, of course. New note added to your journal.
I will be glad to rest.
Bullet rat fetus. Teacup. So basically this guy was doing experiments with the rats. I guess he was trying to find a cure. Look around here before I fake book. Okay, I'll come back to that. Red. George Clavering Boulevard.
At the Academy, they cut the flesh of the dead and trap the lightning from the sky.
Rat behavior and extermination. From a series of interviews with street workers, by rat catcher Lena. Used to be you'd go out with a bag, a stick with a nail in the end, and catch as many rats as you could in a night. The city watch paid by weight. My husband Benjamin and I mostly worked alone, and we got by. If we found a place where the rats were real bad, sometimes we'd hire a crew of street brats to work with us. The younger ones who didn't make trouble, we'd pay them with bread and apple cider. Once the plague came, the rats were different. Meaner, bigger, and a little quicker. You had to watch yourself. If you got cornered, they'd turn, and the swarm would come back at you. I barely got away with my skin a few times down in the sewers. The bites hurt afterward, but it was the sounds they made that stayed in your dreams at night. It got more dangerous, and the city watch started paying better. But that didn't last long, because after a while, too many people had been stripped clean trying to fill up a bag. One slip and they'd be all over you, gnawing and trying to chew down to the bone. That's how I lost my poor Benji.
Why am I so cold?
Alright, I got a lab key. Let's see what's over here. Bull rat fetus. Lab equipment. Empty bottles. Excerpt from a natural philosopher's notes. For over a year I've studied this cursed plague, collecting and dissecting rats by the thousands. Given their rapid gestation and maturation cycle, it's been possible to breed them for numerous generations. The rodents themselves seem immune to the plague, but they pass it readily between members of their own species, perhaps through mites. The blood of the rats tells its own story, allowing me to gauge the number of generations that a given group of rats have lived with the plague. As such, a nagging question remains. The rats collected in the poorest parts of town in the slums exhibit the oldest strains of the plague, while those found near the docks, where the foreign plague-bearing rats would presumably have entered our city, exhibit a younger strain of plague. Could this mean that the rats were transported to the slums in some way that is not obvious? Or originated there? I will continue my research. If nothing else, I am living proof that Sokolow's elixir and Piero's remedy are very effective at protecting against the plague if one consumes enough of the stuff. The Leviathan's Sorrow. From a report on a treatise banned by the Ridgeshore Trade Council. Little is known of Picotti, credited with this series of pamphlets arguing against the whaling trade. While he is gifted, his views are nonsense and threaten the economic underpinnings of the empire. Number 1. Enslavement. On the breeding and husbanding of whales versus hunting the beasts in the wild after a natural and free life cycle. Picotti offers no solutions for where these massive, malevolent creatures might be pastured. Dissolution. Number 2. Laments on the destruction of social bonds between herd members. Picotti actually uses the term families. Number 3, harmony. Drivel on the aesthetic wonder of what is in reality the great and terrible ocean that ever threatens to swallow us. Includes arguments on the gentle nature of the brutes, a notion refuted by seamen who return to shore wide-eyed with tales of the whale's savagery. Number 4, disruption. Here, Picardy is on his weakest footing, issuing up feverish warnings against the displacement or transference of natural beasts from their native environments. Audiograph player.
Obviously, the plague rat is distinct from the ordinary rat, but in what respect? Its size and the coarseness of its fur, and I believe in intelligence, although the experiments there are not complete. Coriander Zoological Survey describes only the ordinary rat, which means plague rats have only been here for 5 or 7 years at most. This was not a gradual migration. Could they have been introduced on purpose? Perhaps by a foreign power.
Well, I need to end this episode. Hope you've enjoyed. Please give me a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.